Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in. Uh, we already discussed scalars, and one thing to mention, it's not direction, actually it's unit. Sorry for it. Okay, I'm so sorry. Now let's get to vectors, the most interesting things. They are very amazing so far as I know. Okay, let me tell you a brief description of vectors. Okay, they have magnitude. Okay, they have units, but they have a direction as well. The direction as well. Now, so we say, for instance, let's assume that force is a vector. Force is a vector. Now let's describe how force is a vector. Why we say force is a vector. Okay, let's create a situation here. You have a pen here. Okay, now the situation is I have to move the pen. This is the situation. Now I apply a force. Okay, I apply a force on this pen of, consider, 2 Newton force. 2 Newton force. I apply a force in this direction. The pen ends up here. The pen ends up here. The situation is such that I have a force of 2, which is a number, magnitude, Newton, units, but there is something else apart from 2 Newton, apart from 2 Newton. That is in which direction I'm applying the force. Because if I apply a force of the same 2 Newton in this direction, the final state of the pen will not be as if I apply the force of the same 2 Newton in this direction. That means that without the direction, the final position of the situation is not determined. So that means without the direction, you cannot predict where this pen will go after the completion of, or after ending of the event, after you remove the force. When you, for instance, consider this is in the north direction, you apply the force in the north direction, this ends up here. Okay, when you apply a force in the, consider this is west, so you have, when you apply a force in the west direction, it goes here. That means that not only unit and number is required, which is magnitude, there is a need of direction as well required. So 2 Newton force in north will cause the pen to coincide the mass here. Okay, we will say will cause the pen to move in north direction. Okay, so the situation was you had to move the pen. Okay, and to fully describe the situation, you mention the magnitude of the force, you mention the units of the force, and now you are mentioning the direction as well. All right, now how the question is how you represent the vector. Okay, a vector is represented by same as this, like a magnitude and a force and the direction. And the direction is usually represented in terms of symbols. For instance, this is the direction. Consider this is a Cartesian plane. We have this direction as y-axis. Usually we use j as direction, and this direction is x-axis. We use I to represent this direction. So 2 Newton with a direction will give you the representation of a vector. V, usually it is in bold and there is an arrow above it. Okay, V is the vector whose magnitude is 2, whose unit is n, and whose direction is I. If it was in north, consider it would have, let's suppose these north, let's suppose represent north in the small letter, so that means 2 Newton in the direction of north. If it was in east, 2 Newton east. Okay, and remember that 2 Newton in east direction is not equal to 2 Newton in north direction. Okay, all right. So there is another example which we call displacement, is also a vector quantity. Okay, so why displacement is a vector quantity? For instance, there are two consider that you are in the middle of a circle. Okay, in the middle of a circle, here you have your house, and here you have, in the total opposite, here you have your school. Okay, this is your school. Because this is a circle, so the distance between this and this is the same. All right, consider it's 2 meters. All right, so you are at the center, you want to go to your house. All right, if I say that you have to move 2 meters, it does not make sense, because if you have to move 2 meters, you might end up here to your school, not your house. But if I say that this guy have to move 2 meter in left, you will end up at your house. So to fully describe this situation, you need the distance you have traveled as well as the direction, which is left or right. Okay, if you say 2 meter in right, you are able to describe the situation that this fellow will be heading towards his school. Okay, I hope this makes sense. Thank you so much.